This is how you should start your podcast. It's so funny.
Regressioncast, episode 5. What is it now? November 17, 2012. I will do the introductions. In the top right, we have Will Dopamine, Melee Officer Good Riddance. In the bottom right, we have a brand new been in the guild, been raided with us for one night, sort of. Our new Holy Paladin, Kasket, who since you said you didn't care, I'm just gonna try to go with the first name, which is Mason Jr. Kasketjunior?
Mm-hmm.
There's
another one.
I'm sorry, Kasketjunior.
There's a better one.
I guess I didn't even look to see what your actual...
It doesn't matter either one.
I'm going to go with Mason if I can remember, but I call Dope all the time. And then in the bottom left, last but not least, Rob, Shadow Priest, Thangral for Good Riddance. Yeah, you got it right. And then in the background, Kipka, KYPKA, so you can message her. Did I spell that right? What did I even say? K.
You stopped at KY.
Did you realize you have KY in your name?
It's actually 10 gold.
Wow.
10 gold plus your email address gets you nudes.
if that. Absolutely. All right. So she can't hear you guys, but you can hear her when she blabbers. So our first topic is coins, and specifically, how does the good raider use them? Like, when is the time to use them? When do you not use them? When do you save them? I have some thoughts on this, but who wants to go first? Because my thoughts are the best thoughts, so I'm going to save them for the last if I can. Dopa, I'll always jump to you.
I mean, so we're in a spot in the game now where all the tiers released. And people have been doing the Shahs for a long time, so a lot of people have some tier. And up until now, I was kind of asking people when this whole tier coin or the coin system came out. Other guilds, like, what are you guys telling your raiders to do? Because you can get a lot of upgrades, and people are like, just use them if you need them, if you need the gear. But I think the in-game raiders now collectively that you'll find that they're pretty much saving them for their tier pieces, weapons and trinkets.
Right.
So that's kind of what you do. I wish there was a way in game, you could tell whether someone was using them or if they won loot off, a coin or what. But I think that's the overall strategy now is just to help you raid out with those tier pieces, since it's so much shared loot and it's such a big upgrade.
It's to nail on the tier. How many do you know off the top of your head how many coins you have currently?
On my main dude?
Yeah.
I have two free coins.
You have two?
Two
coins? Let me just go ahead. Mason, you said you have 3? Let me go around and ask. You have 4 of them right now? Thang, how many you got on you?
Yeah.
I have uno.
You have 1 coin.
And I'm saving it for Elegon for the exact same reason Dopa said. Tier and weapons and trinkets. The trinket off
right now.
Basically, going through all the best gear and everything, you can pretty much tell those are generally the best items, like best slots in your all your equipment.
Right. Well, and away that's
especially there's so much competition for them in the guilds.
Yeah.
And so landing a free trinket or a free shot touched weapon, I mean that's going to be huge for Loot Council to not only fairly distribute the gear, but make it easier and quicker, and everybody gets their stuff faster.
Right. Yeah, I wonder. That's interesting because our guild we do Loot Council, but other guilds obviously don't. So I wonder how that's working out for them.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be interesting.
I could see I've never really used much of not DBM. Dragon points.
DKP, Dragon Kill points. which is a system that other guilds use.
There's a couple other point systems, effort
Zero
values or something like that.
And,
Right. I could see a system, I don't know of any, but I could definitely imagine a system where, I don't know if there's a way to prove it, but, assuming nobody's lying, if a raider uses a token on a boss, they, I don't know, maybe get a few points, or if they win something off a boss, they get a few points. I don't know exactly how. I'd have to think more.
Right, they really need to implement. Yeah, they need to implement some sort of visibility on what's happening with coins. Like we talked about 2 weeks ago or whatever it was. Like we had that whole huge issue with the gear that dropped, and the GMs couldn't even tell if we were using coins. So they need to fix that on the whole. That's really bad.
The problem though is I don't think they will. Reason being is they've stated already that they don't want the coins to feel mandatory, right? But in reality, we're all progression players. They're mandatory because they're available, right?
Yeah.
And me, as part of the loot council in our guild, I fully expect every raider to at least be getting their 3 coins a week and using them smartly for their spec. You cannot deny how much faster, tier 2 pieces and 4 pieces are going out sets for people. You individually may get gold, every time, but the raid in general is getting geared a lot more.
Yeah, if we get 1 or 2 tier pieces a week extra.
Yeah. And awesome. In turn, if somebody else getting gear with coins, that's good for you, because that means that less people that they're not going to need.
Right.
Exactly.
So Mason,
now I'd use them on anything.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say you said you have 1 coin, or no? You said you had 4 coins. So you have quite a few. Have you gotten them every week since launch?
Yeah, basically, and I keep getting gold every time. So
yeah, I haven't had a lot of luck either. So you're just using them for any upgrade for you right now, or are you waiting for tier?
Exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly. I use it for any upgrade. Because right now I only have 1 496 equipped, and that's it. And I'm trying to get the most gear I can to be the best I can be in the raid, Because right now it's hard to compete with geared healers. As myself, I'm 472 equipped, and most healers are up in the 490s.
Right.
So it's really hard to compete, and I try my hardest without going and saying, hey, I can't really do anything right now because I wasted all my mana trying to out-heal you guys.
Yeah, gear definitely matters quite a bit for healers.
I think another thing to take into account, even aside from tier pieces and stuff like that, is the number of potential upgrades on a boss. I know as a Shadow Priest, Elegon has I remember when we were first killing it, that was he still is one of the best bosses, I think, for a caster to use their trinket on, especially if you're in heroic mode. Because it's there's 4, or I know there's a weapon, a trinket, and one of the best belts I think you can get, because it's got an extra gem slot or something. But, just taking into account all those factors, looking across the loot tables of all the bosses, that's a good way to, filter out which bosses, Right. And it's all dependent which boss you want to spend your coin on. It's a good way to filter out. Again, it's dependent on your own personal gear. If I didn't need a trinket or anything like that, I would definitely view spending a token on a boss with a trinket differently. So it's hard to set an in-stone rule for it.
I definitely like them. I've said before, I feel better about getting gear out of tokens than I do winning it out of the, loot council normal means. It's cool because you roll it and it's free and you're whatever. I think though that they tie them to dailies, is that the right call? I don't know. I think they could put those little lesser charm deals on the end of 5-mans if they, because they say those are so awesome and everyone does them all the time anyway because of the great rewards that they provide. So let them provide some better rewards, I don't do 5-mans anymore, and I would, obviously, for tokens, because those are awesome. It's a cool concept.
Just as a side thing, dailies, for 20 seconds, I was you know what, dailies aren't really that bad, I don't have to do them anymore, blah, blah, blah. And then the end of the week came, and despite clearing all of that stuff, I had like 400 and some Valor points, and so I'm realizing now, like, nope, you do have to do dailies still, and they are still as terrible as I remember.
Especially once the upgrade system comes out.
Right. But getting back to specifically the strategy on how to use these coins, the stuff I was going to add, well, specifically for me, because I'm a tank, there's tank pieces are going to drop pretty well, and obviously I'm pretty much going to get them, you know, if not like Krar or some kind of off tank or whatever. But the point is like tank stuff, depending, you start to DE a lot. So I'm trying to specifically use my coins for obviously tier, which I'm 4-piece now, so it's not quite a big deal. And kind of like the pieces that DPS would also want, like I think it's smart for me to use my coins there. So, I mean, yeah, obviously, you know, you definitely want to save your tier for your tier pieces. You don't want to be using them on, you know, on LFR. Like, that's the last place you want to use them. But what I thought was interesting is I think if you are coming into... It depends on what your role is in your guild and in the raiding that you do. If you're one of the progression people, I think that you need to be... you know, only holding on to 1-2 extra coins maybe. But if you're like a backup person, I would tell them to wait longer actually. Because, you know, as long as your guild is doing what they should be doing by like rotating you in on farm kills where they're going to be DEing those items, you're just going to get those items. So you should also be using those coins kind of like I do with the tank for the stuff that, you know, you're going to be competing against the more core main raiders in your guild. You know what I mean? If you come in as a backup... Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, right away, for us right now at this time, yeah, absolutely. But maybe later on, you know, tier isn't going to be... You know, everyone's going to have their tier, so that's maybe going to be one of the last things you want to use it on. You know, trinkets sometimes can get really, you know, really ugly. So that's what my thought was on that stuff. I don't know.
I mean, what do you guys think about the gearing pace of LFR right now? I mean, because, you know, we have the main raids, but I mean, I have a ton of alts. This new loot system obviously fixes some problems. I mean, it fixes that, you know, 5-box the LFR, run it with guildies and ninja everything you can and get it, you know, kind of thing.
The good old days.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean,
I like to call them.
But do you think that the gearing pace is faster, slower, or the same? If you just did LFR.
Ooh. See,
I think it's slower. I don't see a lot of loot dropping.
All right, well, let's go. Mason, go ahead. Yeah, what do you got?
Yeah, I've done all 4 this week, like I said, and I got 28 gold and 50 silver from every single one. And I was like, well,
yeah,
Blizzard, you know?
Totally.
So basically, it wasted my time. Not only that, but wiping on like Garelon and Empress and Amber Shaper. I mean, just for gold, it's not worth it. You know?
Yeah.
I think they should do it based on mechanics.
Just really quick, my experience.
You don't get nothing.
That would be nice. That would be. Well, that's gonna be really hard. But yeah, my experience with my alt, because I have that panda that I made. I have ran LFR with him. You know, I think I missed probably the first 2 weeks I missed. But since then, I've ran it every week. And out of all of them that have been opened, I've cleared them again. Every single one of them that I could, except for the 2, you know, mogu'shan for the first 2 weeks. And actually, probably wasn't even going to open for one of those. But the point is, I've gotten 2 items, and they were the same item. So I got the same ring twice. And since then, it's just been gold. And that's it. So I don't know. Something's wrong there.
I think if you're looking to gear up through LFR, you're gonna be waiting a long, long time.
And is that bad? I kind of like that.
I mean, the biggest change I think with this, I mean, aside from the whole guild stacking of LFR and, you know, everybody rolling need and everything, the biggest change is that, like, I remember, like, when we were, like, halfway through Dragon Soul progression on Heroic, it's like, I had no need for LFR. I was running it for practice runs or running alts or just for fun. Like, what's fun, huh? But, yeah.
I don't do anything in this game for fun.
I mean, I would run it and not roll. I know there's assholes, and I know that's most people are probably going to still roll on the gear, but for the most part, I wouldn't roll on the gear if I saw some people that really needed it. And I know that's just me, but I think I think that, and because of that, people who actually needed the gear had a higher chance if they got people, with that mindset in the LFRs. I think, the chance of that happening was fairly low, but I think a better solution, albeit maybe more work, would have been something along the lines of better, like, item flagging, and as well as, like, item detection, such in the instance as, like, okay, this priest that's, heroic geared is running LFR, and this shoulder tier dropped. He has the heroic shoulders. He should not be able to roll on that at all.
Yeah.
In the same light,
nice.
it's just right, because it would eliminate the problem of guilds, stacking and sending gear to each other to a certain extent. But it would also, allow for the lesser geared people that actually need the gear have a better chance and get the gear faster.
It does seem like there's something bizarre with the calculations. I don't know.
I think the thing that makes... Good.
Nothing. Well, I was going to change topic, so hit your last thing. What were you going to say?
Oh. Yep. I think the thing that makes the gear slower is that before, everyone needed on everything, which kind of sucked, but you were able to wheel and deal and trade for something later that you did need. So there was that, and also you could bring guildies to help roll for you, and they filled a slot, and if they needed it, they won. Or hell, what I did was I just straight up paid people. I wanted to trade, and I was like, 5K gold, come here if you win me a tier thing. You know what I mean? And like I got.
Is that unfair? Or is that a good thing? Like, I don't know.
I don't think it's unfair at all.
I think it's good. I think it helps to kind of smooth over the rough spots in their system. I don't know. And I'm not. I do have kind of a lot of gold, but I'm not someone that really like spends a lot of gold level gearing my characters. And this tier was the most I did.
150,000 gold for the damn Dark Moon trinket.
Yeah, well, I spent like 140 gold, I think, at the beginning of MOP. But that's the most I think I have at the beginning of expansion. But
like Will said, he said like before in Dragon Soul you had the chance at actually rolling on something that you needed and the chance of winning it instead of it being like a roulette now where instead of having the choice of hey, I might need that, I could do something with that, I could forge the crit into something else. Instead, like I've gotten 4 of the same cloaks from LFR Blade Lord since I've done it, and that's the only thing.
It's the same problem with the tokens as well. I've gotten like the last like 4 or so items I've gotten from tokens have all been. I think I've gotten the torch off Elegon 3 times, and I've gotten just junk loot, and it feels terrible. It's a shock crystal because I'm an enchanter, but it's like it doesn't feel right. It's so it's like you see the loot pop up, and then you're like, all right, I won loot, and then you're like, crap, and it's really frustrating.
I wonder if they have any like metadata or any data on, because I'm sure that the number of loot popping out of LFR into the community, the number of lootses that's going into the community is probably on average the same because they figured that out. But I wonder if they looked at like individual raider number of times in LFR versus number of gear gotten, because I wonder if that number is different. Like,
definitely look for that to get messed with soon. But as far as like if you're someone who doesn't really understand how to be using those coins, again, just there's not really an easy answer. But look at what you're rolling against, I guess. And then it's always probably a good idea to talk to like higher ups in your guild or your raid leader or something as well if you really have no clue. We could probably pretty easily
take other guildies into consideration for sure.
Yeah.
But like, especially now that we're all like not all, but like you said, Dustin, you have your 4-piece. A lot of our guild's going to be getting 4-piece. A lot of people are going to start getting that. At that point, then it's going to be what is the biggest upgrade for me. Again, what boss has the most chance? If I spend a token, this boss has 3 items on it that are all really good upgrades for me. So.
Right. Okay. So moving along. Thought it would be a good idea to just kind of go over. So Terrace opened this week, and we cleared it on normal. And Terrace. Oh, to end the spring. And
it's a good raid, just like Heart. I was happy.
Yeah, it was all right. You know what? Actually, just like before, because what I want to do is get into like how we killed it and what we thought actually were issues. But just overall, would you guys agree? Like, shouldn't this have been either the first or the second raid released? Like,
oh yeah,
doesn't it feel like we were doing it out of order?
Oh yeah.
From the screenshot, it looked really fun. You know, very repetitive and fun.
Well, I mean, I'm talking more about just like, you know, like the damage taken and the numbers required, except for Shaw, who was, you know, maybe arguably overtuned, but you know, he wasn't too much of trouble. I don't know. I just thought it seems to me like it came out of order. I don't know. That's what it feels like.
I think Heart of Fear should have been last.
Yeah.
I mean,
definitely.
Heart of Fear feels like the hardest instance for sure, but I mean, Shaw's probably going to be the hardest boss on Heroic. I'll tell you what, though, I don't know if you noticed this, a little aside, artistic thing, since I like artism, but the cell shading that they did on Shaw, I've never seen that on any other boss.
He looks really cool.
It's amazing. It's like a reverse cell shading. It's really cool.
Yeah, he looks very, very cool, actually, here.
It's a really good model.
I can even...
Well, he's angry.
I think that's
fearful.
That's one of the best I've seen in a long time.
Oh, wow.
From them. It's so cool.
Oh, I can't get high enough on the thing.
So pretty.
Oh, well.
Like, it's reminiscent of Burning Crusade. Like, colors are not bad. Colors are really cool. Like, flashy, shiny colors make me go, ooh.
Yeah,
I like
it. Here, give me 1 second.
Yeah. It definitely feels like 3 separate instances, which is what I know they were going for. You know, the Manted thing is really cool. You know, at Garrelon, I think you could throw that boss away and I'd feel alright about this everything. I think 16 bosses is a little much for a tier, though. I mean, you know, you can't have 16 hard bosses, but 16 bosses is a lot. I think 8 to 10 is probably a good
They
tier.
kind of remedied that with the staggered release.
Well, that's also that's sort of what I was thinking. With the staggering, this one was so much smaller. Go ahead,
right.
sorry.
I'd say a good amount of bosses or a good amount of guilds have probably half the bosses. You know, 8 bosses down. Like, if you look at like 50% of the guilds out there, I would imagine most of them have, you know, like the first 3 or 4 in mogu'shan.
I don't know about most of them.
Like
I did just look at it, but I mean, yeah, quite a few.
True.
Definitely.
I don't know.
It would be close to half for sure. Yeah. You're probably right by now. This was a few days ago. Sorry. Okay.
It was a fun fight, Shaw. I've never been. I don't really understand why on Shaw though that I have to kill a bowman. Like what the heck? What is that?
Yeah.
Like
let's go through
the Shaw and
save
it's
it. Let's go there. Let's go through the first one. So the Protectors of the Endless. So this is probably going to be not a whole lot. Mason wasn't there, obviously, yet. So
I know what to do though.
Well, right, but Dopa, like, yeah, Dopa. What happened on Protectors? What did we have issues with? Was there something? Let me let me flesh the question out. Was there something that the raid leader asked the melee officer to do that the melee officer didn't really do, and then became an issue?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah. See, what the melee officer's job was in that fight was to notify the tank before the shit went on the ground to move the boss at the appropriate time. And our tank failed to do that and actually let the boss just drink all the copious amounts of healing goodness that he wanted.
You have to specify the tank.
After doing that, he would heal. Sorry, Dustin.
No, it was Farah. Farah had that guy.
It was Farah.
He was like, the boss kind of did one of these. He was like, this healing water is so good on my feet and my balls. It feels so good on my face. And then he healed, and that was our problem. And once we fixed that, you know, kicking too. I mean, there was a kick rotation thing that had to be done, but I mean that was a minor point.
Yeah, so it was an easy fight. We just had to. Oh, I'm losing my voice. We had to kick the. Which one? I guess it goes back and forth. The lightning bolt or the water bolt, depending on which.
And the reason
we don't kick
had
the
to
bosses
kick it
that move.
was right, and he's channeling or he's casting, and then they spawn this healing stuff, and then the dude sits in it, and that's bad.
Yeah, so you.
I'm interested to see.
Go ahead.
Just elite. I want to see the elite. I mean, I'm glad we killed it on normal.
Oh,
that's good beer. That's a good beer. I'm glad
Actually,
we killed it on
I just
normal
had that
because
a week ago. Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just saying, I'm glad we killed on normal because we've got so much other like heroic kills to do. I think next week, like we were saying, we'll do it on heroic or not non-heroic, just normal elite. And it won't be that much harder, but it'll be better loot for us. And I think that was the right call. But it was.
What do you think about
the elite stuff?
Heroic elite crap? Yeah. Do you think that's outdated mechanic?
I don't at all, especially on a council fight.
Like I said, I think in Raid or whatever it was, like it is a little silly that like we can't just have small, medium, large. We need to have like medium, large, extra large, super Mongo, etc. Did you guys lose Thang, or is it just me?
I'm seeing you guys, but yeah, I'm looking at.
You're back.
There we go.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just one. It's one fight. It's one fight. Okay. Farah's in chat defending his honor. It wouldn't move because it wasn't interrupted by the melee. And when he says melee, the melee. Here's how it works: the melee officer, he's supposed to disseminate the kick order, which kind of didn't happen. So that's why it didn't move. So I'm with Farah. Farah couldn't move the boss.
Tank, by the way.
Farah is the other main tank.
The Guardian Druid.
Correct. So
the other main tank.
So he's defending his honor. Thanks for bringing that in, Farah. But
it wasn't Farah's fault.
No, it wasn't. It was your fault. But aside from that, I don't remember what I was saying. But with the the different sizes,
elite, medium,
the
large.
medium, uber size and whatever. I don't know. I mean, they're trying it with one boss.
On the name.
Are they going to do this with more stuff? I don't know. If they're just testing it out. I mean,
Thank God it's just one boss, and thank God it's an easy boss. If it was like Shaw of Fear, like heroic elite, like whatever, dude. Like just don't make the item levels different. And this whole like with this upgradable item level thing, there's going to be 17 different eye levels of the same effing loot. Like,
we'll see. We'll see.
I don't
think. Yeah. Well, you're right.
Like it.
Is that bad? I don't know.
That.
Depends. As long as.
I like that.
I mean, kind of.
Yeah, I'm not against it. I'm not against it. We'll see how they do it.
Other people.
Well, you could be, depending on how hard they make it to do this stuff. So I don't know. So I'm not against that. So yeah. So this fight,
you're just not elite.
Yeah, you don't have the gear. I think.
So the big thing for the fight for everybody out there is the kick rotation and the movement of the boss.
Yeah,
and then make sure that your raid goes like this, stacks up on orbs, DPS the orbs, and fans out.
Yeah,
correct. For the last phase.
From that.
For the last phase.
Dodge the Ragnaros lightning buff or lightning cast storm thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a Ragnaros dancing mechanic. I like the hand. I should have video for this, but I don't. And the important thing about that storm mechanic, and this is if you're killing the Kowlon first, and then would we kill Regale second?
Protector, then the lightning dude, and then the water dude.
Right. So when you're dancing the lightning, the important thing there is that the damage is done when the graphic disappears where you are. So there's 3 rings. If you're like in the middle ring, as soon as the first ring disappears, then it's safe to run into the middle ring. So, all right, moving on. Su Long. I don't think I have. Oh no, I guess I do have a little bit on that one.
Another Dreamwalker.
I actually got that guy when I got exalted with Shadow Pan. I actually ride on his back.
I'm sure you do.
Or wait, maybe that's the Thundering Ruby Cloud Onyx Serpent thing, because they have 17,000 effing colors of the same mount in this expansion. Oh, look, a Cloud Serpent that's a different color, but 10 times harder to get.
What were our issues on Thang? Because for us, our big deal was getting like off heals and stuff for that.
Off heals.
Yeah.
Off
and
heals
you are an off healer. So what'd you do?
That's one of the reasons I love playing a Shadow. That fight is one of the reasons I love playing a Shadow. For example, it's like, I have the capability to throw heals, and when I get to do that in a raid environment, it's really cool. So like he does this breath that gives you like 500% healing done for like 5 seconds or something, really short.
6 seconds.
But like, it's enough to be able to like throw really big heal, quick couple heals, and then put your couple dots up. And for a Shadow Priest, like we've got Halo, Then we can put renew and flash heal. It's just one of those things where it's a unique fight, unique mechanic. It's a fun fight.
Yeah, it's cool because it's
the big thing.
Go ahead.
The big thing on the fight is getting the ads dead that go towards the boss when everyone's healing, and as long as you got enough DPS for that, I mean, like the off-star healers are
pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
it's not a bad fight.
It looked to me like another Dreamwalker with just another phase, basically.
Yeah, and Raid Rat.
Because you got to heal the boss.
It's a better version of Dreamwalker for sure.
I did do that.
And you get a cool Chinese dragon.
Does that mount drop off of him? I feel like it's gonna. I don't know. I would just say so.
No, that's off a shot.
Oh, so if you haven't seen the fight at all, it's kind of confusing when you read it and you're trying to figure out what's going on. Basically, so in the night phase you're trying to damage him, in the day phase you're trying to heal him, and everything switches proportionately to how far you got in the previous phase. So I wasn't sure. I was like, so are we gonna have to go through one phase where we don't heal him at all or something? But so it trades it over. The only trick that I guess I would say there is we put all our DPS on killing the little ads that come in a circle, for the most part, and then the tanks we would just pick up the bigger ads that blow up into the 5 little tiny ads, and we just held them in front of the boss's face. Who did sometimes move, once the phase started, he would face a certain way, and sometimes that would be the way he would breathe for the whole phase, and sometimes he would move at the last second. So what we did is we had Farah pick up the ads first, the big ads, I guess I should probably know what they're called, Embodied Terror, I think was the one, and
something Terror.
Yeah.
Big ass Terror.
Is that what it was? Yeah. And then if he did move, then I would quickly taunt the ad over in front of the face. And then you do need DPS to kill that. But once the 5 little ads are out, no one should be DPSing those unless it's a phase, unless it's pushing into the day phase or something, because he will just one-shot them with the breath. And that is really helpful. Okay. Ooh, what else do we got? Not mogu'shan vaults.
Fei Li or something?
Lei Shi.
Little girl?
Lei Shi.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a kind of interesting boss. I mean, that is that boss reminds me of our healer Tibley a lot. Kind of just I don't know why, and I know he's going to get mad at me for saying it, but it just kind of does.
Perfect.
But it's an interesting fight. He's a little sheepish. He's a little in and out. He kind of hides, ducks around. He's like, you gotta find me. You gotta find me, silly boy.
You know what I like?
It's a really cool mechanic.
What I like about that fight, I like that it steadily gets harder and harder as it goes on. I think that's cool because it's it makes it a relatively easy fight to learn because you go through all the phases, you get to see everything before it gets hard.
Yeah.
The big thing.
Talk about Tibley and then things getting harder.
Oh boy!
Right. The big thing there.
Boy.
The big thing there is just to spread out your DPS during hide. 4 corners and find them. Spam your AOE, and then what we found was really good for the other ad phase. Just stack your raid up in the middle of the platform, and
on the boss, yeah.
What do we do after that? Oh yeah, you can banish those ads. You can do a lot of stuff to them. So
yeah, hammer them. Yeah, have everyone. Right.
Yeah. As a Shadow Priest, Mind Fiend, we just throw that down and it automatically fears them. It's great.
Right. I think
just anything in that token.
Yeah, I think your mic might be feeding back a little bit thing. I don't know if you can try to move it or something.
Shit, sorry.
But yeah, for us, basically stack up anytime the ad phase happens. Stack up, and then when they appear, just have everyone throw all of their CCs, just like crazy. You can kind of set them up north, south, east, west if you want. Paladins have Holy Wrath. If you glyph that, you can stun them. And then have Warlocks and Shamans banish them, ASAP. All except for the one that you mark with a skull and have everyone kill that. But yeah, those ads got really easy.
Blinding Light, too.
See, I don't know. Have you used it? Do you know for a fact?
Yeah, it knocks them down instead of blinds them.
Because, see, I glyphed it because I thought the knockdown would work. Obviously, you're never going to get anyone in 25 raid to, let you disorient stuff. But Fell glyphed it, and he said it didn't work for him, or he didn't think. But so I don't know. Yeah, maybe that works if you're saying so. But yeah, I would suggest that if it works.
I've seen a couple pallies using it.
right. Like, you've actually seen it in videos, like work and stuff, or what?
I've seen it in videos, and I would look up people that are working on it right now, and it's in their glib talents. So.
Oh, really? Interesting. Cool.
I don't know. Maybe they're thinking the same thing. It might not work.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I threw it in there, but I barely used the skill, so I forgot to even do it in the panic. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and last but definitely not least, the Shah. Oh, the fear is. Mason,
the shiny box.
You were watching that one. So as someone who was watching our stream, Twitch TV or twitch.tv/Danath, for our raid schedule, which is whatever. What did you think our issue was? Like, what were we having trouble with in that fight?
I honestly think, I know that fourth tank that you threw in there, Will. Yeah, good job.
Goodish job.
I had 4 global cooldowns of tankedness.
You shouldn't have needed it, really, from what I saw. I think it was just really a gear thing, honestly. I really do. Once you get just a little bit more gear, it'll be 3 tankable.
Oh, so, yeah, definitely. If everything...
That's what I saw.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. So basically, like, this fight, if you're watching this, you probably have already watched boss fights or whatever. But point is everyone's in the middle killing stuff, and then whoever the current tank is in the glowy circle gets pulled to like one of the terraces or whatever, or gazebos, to the hot tub.
So here's what I ask on this fight: why the hell? We're like fighting this big Shaw thing, and then it's like
I'm sure the lore is there, man. Have you tried to read it? To fight the crossbow guy? They all have names. They're like some ancient guardians or something, dude. There's a reason.
They're from the Golden
It's like some dude shooting a bow, and I'm like, I gotta go kill this guy now. It's like weird. Like, what are they gonna do on another fight? I'm like fighting, and all of a sudden I get transported to like Zangarmarsh to kill like some fucking 4-eyed bug. Like,
it's a little extreme.
I get it. It's weird.
It's a little extreme.
It's nothing to do with anything.
So yes, you get teleported to kill a crossbowman, which is weird. I agree. Basically, you all just spread out, eat orbs. Then. What's that? Oh, heroic. Yeah.
He'll love heroic because you get a completely new environment to fight him in at 50%. So.
Right. But the point being, you get the platforms down. I'm not really going to go into that because that's easy enough information to find. But if your tank doesn't get back soon enough to taunt the boss and take over, then the previous tank just gets killed from across the entire instance, which Dopa lovingly had happen to me at the end of our kill. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Farah just informed me that those crossbowmen are former Terrace guardians that were kind of there just chilling, and they're like, hey, look, I'm over here shooting a squirrel with my fucking bow, and then Shaw's like, nah, now you're evil. So that's why they're there.
Right.
Just so you know.
Exactly. That makes complete sense. So that's why they're there. Point is, my tip on that one would be, we actually, even though it should definitely be doable with 3 tanks, I think you need 3 tanks, though. Like, someone said you should be able to do it. I think Farah said you're supposed to be able to do it with 2. I think that's malarkey. But,
no.
Yeah. But I would say swallow your pride and just have if you're in 25-man, I don't know, 10, maybe you need to get a 3rd tank or something. But if you're a 25-man, you should definitely go in there with 4 tanks to start. Because you're just going to need that many.
Just to kill the fight, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to kill the fight, yeah.
We should have done it
While
sooner.
your DPS learns how to get the orbs and stuff, and DPS is the little bowman.
Right, totally.
Yeah, like Mason said, once we get more gear, I would guess in another week or 2 we'll be able to do it with 3.
Now, I'm talking to you. If you're just some plate melee chilling out in your guild and you have like a LOL's tank spec, just be the 4th tank, I'm telling you, because you just sit there, mark some ads, that's all you do, swing your sword 4 times, and you get loot.
Yeah, you got to deal with Thrash. You got to put something up for when Thrash happens.
4 times?
That's it.
4 times.
4 times.
4 times. 4 times.
And then kill your main tank as the fight finishes. Okay, so
right, I have to do that.
So that might
have been your strength trinket.
Let's so as we said before, Kasket has raided with us time for boss. But he's been with the guild now for a couple days. So we're just going to pick his brain a little bit, and we're going to see what he thought about being a noob in Good Riddance. What, just in very general sense. What do you got to tell us?
Noobish terms.
Well, I mean, one of the warriors that you guys have, Brentfield, he's one of my good friends. I've known him for over a year now, you know. But as far as like the social sense of the guild is awesome. People are cool, you know. The raids are very chill as long as nobody like lets tanks die. But
I'm one of them.
But other than that, I mean, progression from a stream viewing point, you know, it looks very good because you guys cleared Terrace in 2 days, and most guilds didn't do it. I mean, the guilds that go hardcore 7 days a week cleared it in a day, but you guys raid 3 days a week, right?
And I would
Tuesday
say raid time wise, we killed it in probably total raid time because we left with like an hour left or something on it the first night.
Yeah, we did our farm heroics.
Yeah, so we did do that. So what about like? Oh,
I was just gonna say, shot took us about an hour and a half or so to kill.
That's fine. What about like the app process or whatever? I'm assuming
even when you one shot it.
I'm assuming Dr. Feelgood like talked to you a lot and whatnot. Yeah. He's really.
He talked to me, and apparently once before I apped to the guild and disappeared. And I looked at the time period that was, and that was when my parents split up, you know, and I had to leave for some real life stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. But I looked at it and I apologized to him, you know, because I know he does a lot with looking at bads and goods, you know. And the fact that I got accepted with the gear that I have right now, that says a lot about the guild, too, about how much of a chance they give to people, you know.
I would just like to point out that he was like, this guy has no gear. And I'm like, he doesn't seem like a retard that much. He only seems moderately. So I was
he's
like,
high functioning.
That's how I got it.
He's really high functioning.
So you're welcome.
That's exactly how I got in. I got in the guild like last December, and I think Dragon Soul had been out for like a month or so. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I had like, I think I had just come back to the game, and I was in like the new heroic, basically what normal Firelands gear was. And you know, I told him, it's like I spent 3 weeks getting the best gear I could, and I just didn't sound like a retard. I met Dr. Feelgood, and
then you immediately started DCing constantly over and over, which still happens occasionally. All right.
I mean, in Dragon Soul though. It kind of sucks now to be undergeared, you know, because in Dragon Soul I was like 409 item level. I had all the heroics in the world to get, you know, because before I was in Age of Regression, their 25-man. That was alright. A lot of drama, but, you know, that's with any guild sometimes.
Right.
But, I mean, I was their top holy pally for like 4 months, you know, and it felt good, and now that I'm kind of one of the lower people, gear-wise, you know, I'm like, you know, a lot of guilds really don't give people that are this gear a chance, you know, because they look at you and they kind of stereotype you with the people that don't work at their character hard, like a lot of raiders do, you know. You work hard at your character to get it geared and get it raid-worthy, you know.
Definitely.
So,
yeah. All right, well, with that, I'm going to wrap it up. I think you're right, though. I think that might be part like a problem with 25s right now is that it's really hard. There's a big jump in gear, and it's hard to bring those people in, especially now at the beginning. So, but all right, thanks for joining the guild, Mr. Mason, and everyone else who's on the podcast. We'll go ahead and end it, and Heidi can say goodbye to end it.
Yeah, she's chilling over there, man.
Say it loud and proud. Just say goodbye. Say it.